Sigmas, imagine this. A man who commands respect without demanding it. A leader in every sense, yet he walks away from the throne. Why? Because true leadership isn't about power, it's about freedom. Have you ever met someone who effortlessly influences people yet refuses to take center stage? Someone who has the traits of a born leader, but chooses solitude over command. Picture a pack of wolves. The alpha leads. The beta follows. But there's one wolf that roams alone, the sigma. He's just as powerful as the alpha, maybe even more. He doesn't seek control, yet others naturally follow his path. He chooses autonomy over authority. This is the sigma male, a leader by nature, but not by position. Here's the truth. Sigma males are born leaders, but they refuse to lead in the traditional sense. And today we're diving deep into the psychology behind this choice. Why does the sigma male reject the conventional role of leadership? What drives him to carve his own path rather than dictate the course of others? Stay with me, because the answers may just change how you see leadership forever. As Carl Jung once said, a man who stands alone is always in the lead. This perfectly encapsulates the paradox of the sigma male, a leader who walks alone, influencing without ruling, guiding without commanding. Point 1. They value freedom over power. Sigmas, let's get one thing straight. Leadership as society defines it is often about control over people, decisions, and responsibilities. But for the sigma, control is nothing more than freedom is the real power. Most traditional leaders thrive in hierarchical structures. They seek influence through titles, policies, and authority over others. But a sigma, he rejects the notion that leadership must come with rules, obligations, and public recognition. His leadership is built on self-mastery, discipline, intelligence, and the ability to operate independently. Take Bruce Wayne as an example. He has wealth, intelligence, and the charisma to be Gotham's political leader. He could easily run for mayor, dictate laws, and enforce his vision through a system of governance. But he doesn't. Instead, he operates in the shadows as Batman, free from bureaucracy and corruption. He understands that real power isn't about sitting at the top of a system. It's about working beyond it, influencing change in ways that structured leadership never could. This is the essence of sigma leadership. It's about proving that influence doesn't require authority. Some of history's most influential figures followed this path. Nikola Tesla revolutionized modern electricity without chasing public validation. Bruce Lee defied traditional martial arts norms, creating his own philosophy instead of conforming to rigid systems. Even Socrates, one of history's greatest thinkers, led by challenging the status quo rather than enforcing rules. The sigma thrives in independence because he knows that true leadership isn't about managing others. It's about mastering oneself. When you master your mind, your emotions, and your purpose, people naturally gravitate toward your wisdom. They respect your actions not because you demand it, but because you embody the strength they aspire to have. And this is why a sigma remains unstoppable. He doesn't seek leadership in the conventional sense. He doesn't need approval, followers, or a title to validate his worth. His power lies in his ability to carve his own path, unshackled by the expectations of others. While the world chases control, the sigma chases freedom. And in that pursuit, he finds the ultimate power, the ability to lead without ever needing to rule. Point 2. They detest needless responsibility. Leadership in the traditional sense often comes with strings attached, bureaucracy, politics, and managing egos. But a sigma male, he has no patience for any of that. He doesn't need a fancy title or a team to prove his worth. He operates on efficiency, independence, and pure problem solving. Take history's greatest innovators, Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs, or even Bruce Lee. They didn't follow the system. They created their own. They weren't obsessed with leading people, they were obsessed with results. That's the essence of a sigma male. He sees a challenge, finds a solution, and moves forward without waiting for permission or applause. Traditional leadership often involves compromise, hand-holding, and politics, things a sigma finds exhausting, and he doesn't need to micromanage others because he trusts his own ability to get things done. If pushed into a structured leadership role, he'll likely reject it, not because he lacks leadership skills, but because he values autonomy over authority. What sets Sigmas apart is their ability to influence without commanding. They don't crave power, yet people naturally follow them. Why? Because results speak louder than words. When you're someone who consistently delivers, people take notice. Consider the lone wolf analogy. While alphas lead a pack and betas follow, the Sigma chooses a different route altogether. He navigates life on his terms, refusing to be bound by hierarchy. This doesn't mean he's antisocial. He simply values freedom over control. And here's the kicker. Some of the most impactful changes in history came from those who operated outside the system. Think of Einstein, who revolutionized physics while working alone in a patent office, or Elon Musk, who disrupts industries without fitting the corporate mold. They didn't seek leadership, they sought solutions. And in doing so, they became the kind of leaders the world truly needs. A Sigma male isn't interested in ruling over others. He's interested in mastery of skills, of knowledge of himself. And in that pursuit, he often ends up leading without even trying. Point 3. They lead without even trying. Ever noticed how the Sigma male never chases attention, yet people are? It's because leadership isn't about titles. It's about presence. True leadership doesn't require loud speeches, grand gestures, or constant validation. It's an energy, a quiet strength that people can feel without needing words. A Sigma male's confidence isn't forced. It's not about showing off, it's about knowing who he is. This self-assuredness makes him stand out in a world where most people seek approval. His decisiveness and independence create an aura of certainty that others find reassuring, while most chase external validation. The Sigma thrives in solitude, mastering himself first before influencing the world around him. Think about Keanu Reeves. He's one of the most respected figures in Hollywood, yet he avoids the spotlight whenever possible. He's not chasing fame. It follows him. His humility, integrity, and self-reliance make him an unspoken leader, one people admire without him ever asking for it. Despite his success, he rides the subway, donates millions to charity, and lives with a sense of quiet purpose. This is the power of the Sigma male. His leadership is not forced. It's earned. When he speaks, people listen because his words come from experience, wisdom, and authenticity. He doesn't manipulate or demand respect. He naturally commands it. Others may chase attention, but the Sigma knows that true influence comes from being someone worth following, not someone begging to be noticed. Throughout history, some of the greatest leaders embodied this Sigma energy. Nikola Tesla, a brilliant inventor, preferred solitude and let his genius speak for itself. Bruce Lee, despite his fame, was deeply philosophical and self-disciplined, focusing on mastery rather than external validation. Even Albert Einstein, often lost in thought, revolutionized physics without seeking public. This is why people gravitate toward the Sigma male. In a world full of noise, he remains calm. In a society desperate for attention, he remains content within himself. And in a culture that values conformity, he chooses to stand alone. People don't just follow words, they follow energy, character, and action. And that is why a Sigma male, without even trying, becomes a leader in his own right. Point 4. They don't need to prove themselves. Most leaders crave recognition. They seek affirmation, applause, and a visible following to validate their position. But not the Sigma. He operates in silence, mastering his craft, refining his mind, and sharpening his instincts without need. His worth isn't defined by external validation, but by his internal sense of purpose. This is why Sigmas reject traditional leadership. They see the flaws in hierarchical systems where authority often depends on popularity rather than competence. Instead of chasing titles or commanding groups, they lead by example. Think of historical figures like Nikola Tesla, an innovator who worked in solitude, uninterested in fame, yet his contributions shaped modern technology. These are Bruce Lee, who revolutionized martial arts by breaking away from rigid traditions, focusing instead on personal mastery. Sigmas understand that true power lies in self-mastery. Unlike conventional leaders who depend on followers for influence, a Sigma's impact is organic. People naturally gravitate toward those who display confidence, wisdom, and independence. They respect the man who doesn't need their approval, but whose actions speak louder than words. This is why Sigmas often become trendsetters. Without trying, they redefine success on their own terms. Leading yourself requires discipline, emotional intelligence. It means making tough choices, standing alone when necessary, and staying committed to personal growth. While most leaders are busy managing others, Sigmas focus on managing themselves, knowing that self-control breeds real influence. Ironically, this rejection of leadership roles often makes Sigmas more powerful. Without seeking it, they gain authority. Without asking for it, they earn respect. People admire their ability to thrive in solitude, remain unshaken by external pressures, and stay true to their convictions. Master yourself, and the world follows, not because you demand it, but because true power cannot be. 5. They value strategy over status. A Sigma male is not just a thinker, he's a strategist. He doesn't waste time seeking approval or validation. Instead, he focuses on results, efficiency, and long-term gains. While most people are caught up in office politics, chasing promotions, or trying to be in the spotlight, the Sigma is already thinking 5 moves ahead, ensuring that when the dust settles, he's exactly where he needs to be. This mindset is similar to how grandmasters approach chess. They don't react impulsively, they anticipate. They understand that every decision has consequences, so they act with precision and purpose. A Sigma male applies this same principle to life, business, and relationships. He doesn't make noise about his plans. He executes them quietly, often leaving people wondering how he managed to succeed without following the conventional path. Unlike an alpha who thrives on dominance in leadership roles, or a beta who follows the rules without question, the Sigma creates his own system. He doesn't need to be the CEO of a company to be successful. He could be the silent investor, the innovator working behind the scenes, or the freelancer who controls his time and income without being tied to corporate bureaucracy. Consider figures like Nikola Tesla, who revolutionized technology while avoiding the social games of his peers, or Steve Wozniak, who co-founded Apple but preferred to focus on innovation rather than fame. These men weren't driven by the desire to be recognized. They were driven by the desire to create real impact. The Sigma male plays life like a game of chess, not to dominate, but to master the board on his own terms. He isn't obsessed with being king because he knows that power isn't about position. It's about influence, knowledge, and the ability to move in silence. Others may chase titles, but the Sigma simply ensures that his next move is always the right one. 6. They choose purpose over position. Sigmas are natural leaders, but not in the traditional sense. Unlike alphas who seek dominance or betas who follow the crowd, Sigmas lead only when it aligns with their purpose. They reject leadership for the sake of status or validation, stepping up only when the mission is something they deeply believe in. This mindset sets them apart in a world where many chase titles rather than true impact. This selective leadership approach is why Sigmas thrive as entrepreneurs, innovators, and independent thinkers. They are not driven by external recognition, but by an internal vision. Ultimately, the Sigma approach to leadership is about authenticity. They don't chase leadership, they become it when necessary. Their influence is subtle but powerful, shaping the world in ways that most don't immediately recognize. And when the job is done, they walk away unbothered by applause, knowing that their impact speaks for itself. Sigmas, here's what you need to understand. Leadership isn't about standing on a pedestal. It's about influence. And you, by simply being who you are, already have it. You don't need a title to lead. You don't need a crowd to validate your worth. Your strength lies in your autonomy, your purpose, and your ability to lead without leading. So embrace it. Walk your path. The world will follow. Sigmas, if this video resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe to join this growing community of independent thinkers and lone wolves. Let's redefine leadership on our terms. Having said this,